sometimes when I sit down to write, what happens is the idea I have for my story is really big. Let me tell you, yesterday I went for a walk with my little boy, and the idea I have for my story that I want to write is about the walk I went with Henry. Henry and I went for a walk, but Henry's my little boy, and on our walk, lots of things happened. Part of our walk, we rode our bikes. Part of our walk, we stopped and threw rocks into the river and watched them make big splashes. Part of our walk, we stopped and we walked into where the weeds were, and there were all these plants growing, and they had milkweed pods on them. Do you know what milkweed is? It's that fluffy stuff that you blow it and it makes a wish. Yeah. You know those? Mm-hmm. And in the weeds, all those were growing. So part of our walk, we were finding those wishes and blowing them. So our walk, dandelion seeds do that too. But in our walk had many parts. It had the part where we rode our bikes. It had the part where we were just walking. It had the part where we were throwing rocks into the river. And it had the part where we were walking in the weeds and blowing all the puffs. So look, I thought I was just going to tell one story about Henry and my walk. But when I think about it, I realize it's really 1, 2, 3, 4 stories. It's like one big story with 4 stories inside it, hiding. So I want to share with you what I did. I wrote a story about how we were blowing the milkweed puffs. And I called it Pod Day because they grow in these little things called pods. I'm just going to read it to you. We got off our bikes. We walked in the milkweed pods and weeds. They were dry and brown and crunchy. We blew puffs and puffs. Goodbye, seeds. Go grow. Now, what I did as a writer is I took a big story and pulled one story out of it, and I just wrote the story about blowing the milkweed puffs. I want to ask, is there a helper here who might help me do this with their own story? Why don't you come sit right up in this chair? Do you think you could tell us the different stories that are hiding in yours? What's your big story, the big blob story?
The big blob story is that I played with my brother.
Okay, now listen to what she's going to do. The big story is how she played with her brother. Now, pull a piece off to tell us one of the stories hiding in there.
We played hide and go seek.
Okay, so we played hide and go seek. I'll hold the little stories hiding inside.
And then we played have a potato. And then we played a puzzle. And then we practiced tying my shoes. And then we watched TV.
Now look at this. It started just one big blob. I played with my brother. And now she has all these different stories. All these things, everything from playing hide and seek to playing hot potato to practice tying shoes to, wait, what was it? To watching TV, and there was one more.
She did a puzzle.
Doing the puzzle, right, and then, thank you, practicing tying shoes. So today when she goes to write, what she will do is she will choose. Which one of these stories do you think you'll write about? If you were going to pick one for today, you might not, but if you were going to pick one of these, which one do you think you might?
Tying my shoes.
She might pick this one about her brother practicing tying shoes with her. And then look, she still has 4 other stories for another day. But she took a big idea and broke it up into different little stories. Thank you for being our helper today. Let me go ahead and sit down. Everybody turn to a partner near you and tell your partner, see if you can. when you go off to write, I want you to remember this. And every day when you write, one of the things we think about is what's the big story? But then, a good writer doesn't always write the big story. A good writer sneaks in and picks out the best little story of all. Like the story that you want to pick is about your brother teaching you how to tie your shoes. And the story that I picked is about blowing the puffy milkweed. Today, when we come back to share, I'm going to ask a couple people to share. And the sharers are going to be people who can tell, well, my big story was this idea. But then I pulled a little one out. So when I meet with you, I might ask you, can you tell me, what little story did you pull out?